Hey everyone! Chapter 7 and the finale to the Book of Boba Fett brought a lot of exciting moments and great action scenes. This was the pinnacle of Star Wars High Noon and was very clearly what everything was building towards all season. This is Star Wars Music Analysis. Do it. Speaking of High Noon, let's start by talking about that almost standoff scene. The entire scene is quietly intense not only in regards to sound, but also action. Fett and Cad Bane are both just waiting for the other to make a single move, and everything will quickly get out of hand. The choir sounds that begin the scene seemingly come from and return to nothing. This is always a haunting effect to our minds since it leaves the unknown of origin or destination, almost like a ghostly figure in the shadows. This also becomes supported by strings as well, as Bane reveals that he's the one that killed Marshal Van, or so he thinks. The drumbeat begins as well. This perfectly imitates Fett's rising heart rate as he hears the bad news, but also acts as a war drum, foreshadowing the growing aggression building inside of Fett. As Bane then also reveals that the Pikes were the ones to kill the Tuskens, we hear the male choir chants enter, which we heard prominently in some of the early episodes when Fett was with the Tuskens. The drum continues to build and they continue to push towards an almost impossible to avoid climax, but eventually the music begins to die down as Fett goes back to a more passive stance and the tension begins to reside.
Not now.
I can take him.
You're emotional.
I can take him.
We need to adjust. You'll have your moment.
As Mando mentions the creed later to Fett, we hear the bass flute sound to remind us of his story.
I'm with you until we both fall. You really buy into that bantha fodder?
And the creed that he follows. This whole scene has these really emotional and intense chords that build until the Mayor's Major Domo interrupts the moment.
If I may offer an alternative?
This results in something similar to what we call a half cadence. The melody moves from the fourth scale degree down to the third, and then finally to a lowered second, which is only a half step away from our resting point on the tonic. This lowered second, which reflects a Phrygian scale, results in a direct upper leading tone to the tonic, in this case D. By creating a pitch so close to the tonic, we hear more tension, similar to how magnets have more pull as they get closer to each other. The only reason I'm hesitant though to call this a half cadence is because the bass moves to the 6th scale degree and not the 5th of the dominant chord, but the result is the same. We have a swift cutoff on a very tense chord with an expected resolution, and it's all because this guy can't keep his mouth shut. Why won't anyone just shoot him? Oh well. As each new group enters the fight, their music begins to showcase. As Fett and Mando enter, we hear Fett's theme. When the mods enter, we hear a more electronic drum sound mixed in. And then as Black Chrysanthemum enters, the music gets deeper and slower to mimic his fighting style. Then, even while everyone prematurely celebrates, the music keeps a deep undertone foreshadowing the entrance of the Scorpionic droids. In all of this chaos though, we still have a moment for the love between Mando and Grogu, as Grogu's theme breaks the tension momentarily.
But we're in a bit of a bind here right now. Be careful, you keep your head down. You stay here.
Momentarily only until, though, the Scorpionic droids start shooting them up. But then comes the big interruption of the show as Fett rides in on his pet Rancor, which we knew was going to happen, and everyone stops to see what that roar was. But the music also cues his arrival with just this big, brassy bass sound that then continues to drop as the fact it's a Rancor is revealed. This reminded me so much of a Godzilla-like moment. You just hear something low, big, and loud to represent an unimaginably large beast. What we hear over and over again after that is just this 2-note half-step motif, which is the beginning of Fett's theme. And as Cad Bane comes back, the standoff music we heard earlier comes back as well, almost as if it never ended. This time though, there's no impending drumbeat of war. The shootout just happens with no long-winded dialogue needing to happen this time. As Boba regains control in the fight, his theme comes back very clearly, but then transitions into this much tamer version as Cad Bane is neutralized. Notice how the music dies away just as Cad Bane fades. And then it's time for Grogu's big moment of taming the Rancor. Interestingly, the music we hear is the same that we hear when he's watching Luke lift frogs, and also when Luke first appears to rescue everyone in the finale of The Mandalorian Season 2. I guess this shows the connection of Grogu's training to Luke, but I still don't entirely know what this theme is meant to represent. The themes in Goranson's era are not used as clearly towards specific characters, objects, or concepts like they were during the Williams era, so the rules have clearly changed also in how to interpret these leitmotifs. The chord being played as Fennec Shand finishes killing off all the Pikes and she's leaving is a simple major tonic chord, and it gives us that final sense of resolution before what essentially is going to be an epilogue. After this, we hear Fett's theme, but in a more peasant-like major version, showing that he's brought peace to the town finally. We hear flutes, guitar, and a tambourine, which feels very folk-like and unaggressive. But it's Mando that gets the final curtain as the music rings out his theme in perfect style as he and Grogu fly away and on to their next adventure. In the post-credit scene, we once again see our favorite bass player, Thundercat, reprising his role as the Mod Doctor Surgeon, and if you haven't gone and checked out his music yet, make sure to do so. But now, once we hit the end credits, you may have noticed something a little different this time. Instead of the music being sung how it normally is, the male voices sing using the syllables of Boba Fett's name. I'm not sure how I really feel about this. It doesn't fit with anything else we've heard in the Star Wars universe and sort of feels like someone just said, hey, this could be fun to do, let's throw it in and see if anyone says no. But we also get this interesting chamber orchestra version of the Boba Fett music, which I think is really cool. It doesn't fit, but I love the style here after all of the electronic sounds from this show. But this is where I ask all of you what you think, especially about this final end credit music. Did you like this? Did it add character or take away from the mood? Tell me what you think in the comments below and tell me if I've missed anything in this episode. And before you go, please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to learn more about the music of the galaxy far, far away. And as always, may the be with you.